Hello, everyone. I rarely make one in the evening. I usually do it in the morning, early morning. But I feel like making one right now. Then I have to take them actually over to the house now to get. Let's see if there a little better. To get them uploaded, because it's not doesn't work over here anymore at my little house, because because we put that big tent up with the pool. It was the best thing we ever did. It is so nice now, even when it is hot. Uh, they have a patio, but that's relatively small. And it's great to sit out there. It looks like a little aviary now, except for we don't have any birds in there. But it's got all. We had the first hibiscus bloom. It was like it was the bloom was there. It was still just a, a closed up. Yeah, they have a name for that. Well, anyway, and then the next thing everybody noticed, oh my gosh, look! It was most beautiful, deep orange colored hibiscus bloom, and it was it was that hibiscus bloom got so much love. My youngest granddaughter, she was just we had to. She was just like this, trying not to touch it and get as close as she could and oh, you're so beautiful. I mean, ah, just amazing. Her vocabulary as a just 2 year old, she just turned last month too, is phenomenal. It is you can literally have conversations with her. Uh, and anyway, so that was a real happening. That sunflowers everywhere in the front yard, in my yard, in the backyard here. They're just opening up by just the dozens, and it just beautiful, just beautiful. And so anyway, so the patio, the rest of the outside patio, which is all cement, yep, concrete, gets so hot in the summer here you can't walk out there. Now with the big tent over it, it's a huge gazebo tent, uh, and then the pool, and then there's a table out there, and all the toys, and it's just great. It's just great. And then from there you go straight into the grass. All right, so it's wonderful. It's the setup now is just wonderful. Yes. And anyway, so how did I get into that? Anyway, so it's been a long day, a good long day. And it's a little cooler right now. June still has some days where it gets a little bit cooler than 80s and 90s with the humidity. Yes, so we're enjoying those very much. Okay, well, let's get going here. Anyway, oh yeah, so I have to go over to the house to upload all the videos. And so it takes me a little longer to get it done right away. Well, anyway, but they'll show up eventually. Okay, so we are in Ezekiel 8. No, 9. I think we're going to do 9 and 10. The punishment. See, it goes right from the sins of Israel, a vision of the sins of Israel, of Jerusalem, and then the punishment. I wonder what the next one is. Oh, one of it. Oh, part of Tammuz is the glory of Yahweh leaves. Oh, yeah, no. The glory of Yahweh leaves the temple. There's nothing good. Then the sins of Jerusalem continued. Okay, well, it is what it is. Let's just keep going. In the book of Ezekiel 9, the punishment. Then he shouted loudly for me to hear, the scourges of the city are approaching, each carrying his weapon of destruction. Immediately 6 men advanced from the upper north gate, each holding a deadly weapon. Among them was a man, I guess we're still in the vision of the sins of Jerusalem, I'm assuming. I'm not sure. As I said, it's not in. It's not a continued thing. They were told us that in the beginning of the book of Ezekiel. It's a mixed up stuff. So, who knows when this all happened now? Among them was a man dressed in linen, with a scribe's inkhorn in his belt. They came in and halted in front of the bronze altar. The glory of the God of Israel rose from above the winged creature. Hi, honey. Where it had been towards the threshold of the temple. You can have one.
What is it?
It's a vanilla brioche.
Is this the bread you were talking about?
No, that is over at the house.
Did you get your glasses?
I did, because my old ones broke this morning.
Oh, well, Mary also has a blue pair that she's been playing with.
Yeah, it's over here now. She brought it to me. She brought them to me. I did give her those.
Oh, bro.
Good? Yeah. Trying not to eat them in front of your mom, since she's has a gluten allergy, so. Did you come over here for anything else?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
Is this the beet?
Yeah, I got that today, because Mom needs this bag back.
Oh my gosh, it's so heavy.
It has stuff in it. The glory of the God of Israel rose from above the winged creature where it had been, towards the threshold of the temple. Oh, we just read that. He called to the man... Bye, sweetheart. He called to the man dressed in linen with a scribe's inkhorn in his belt, and Yahweh said to him, Go all through the city, all through Jerusalem, and mark a cross on the foreheads of all who grieve and lament over all the loathsome practices in it. I heard him say to the others, Follow him through the city and strike. Not one glance of pity. Show no mercy. Old men, young men, girls, children, women, kill and exterminate them all. God would do that. God would say that. God would... No. But do not touch anyone with a cross on his forehead. Begin at my sanctuary. So they began with the old men who were in the temple. He said to them, Defile the temple, fill the courts with corpses, then go out. They went out and hacked their way through the city. Gosh almighty, this is like, I bet that if some of the directors who make movies and all that jazz out there would read the Bible, they'd go, wow, this is a great, I could make a horror movie out of this. Or some kind of, huh? Don't you think? This is terrible. This is... No wonder. In all my life, have I never had visions where such violence was advocated by God. There were some where I had to say, where I was put in a position where I had to decide, I had to make a decision on how to react to violence. What would my stance be when certain things would happen, certain scenarios, on how I would react, what the right way as a human being would be to react. Yes? And believe me, it was never in favor of my life. In other words, that I would take another life to save mine or someone else's. It was never. And I can't see on how, if that was the case with me, and on how I then, and understanding that I got on what it means to be a part of God's will and ideal for mankind, I cannot see on how This is coming from God. That God would have changed after thousands of years, then suddenly now with someone like me, that would have changed. Because there's still plenty of people out there who are doing things they shouldn't be doing, right? Yes? Abominable things, horrible things, disgusting things. And yet, I've never gotten a vision to go out and start killing people. Right? Only leave the good ones, get rid of all the bad ones. Never, ever. It was never like that. Yet here, and again, tell me this isn't any different than what the Quran is being accused of. How is that different? And of course, then I also have to wonder how much in the Quran is true as well. And why are they so similar? The Quran and the Bible. Yes. There's no way God would ever instigate someone to go out and do that. Never. While they were hacking them down, I was left alone. I fell on my face, crying out, "Oh, Lord Yahweh, are you going to annihilate all that is left of Israel by venting your fury on Jerusalem?" He said, "The guilt of the house of Israel and Judah is immense. The country is full of bloodshed, the city full of perversity. For they say, Yahweh has abandoned the country. Yahweh cannot see. Then I too shall neither give one glance of pity nor show any mercy. I shall repay them for what they have done." The man dressed in linen with the scribe's inkhorn in his belt then came back and made his report. "I have carried out your orders." How come there's no name on who that scribe was? He's doing such an important part, right? He's basically the giver of life or death with his ink pen, inkhorn. How come his name is not mentioned? Oh, that's an odd one, don't you think? I think so. 10. Then in vision I saw that above the solid surface over the heads of the winged creatures, there was above them something like sapphire, which seemed to be like a throne. He then said to the man dressed in linen, "Go in between the wheels below the winged creatures, take a handful of burning coal from between the winged creatures and scatter it over the city." He went in as I watched. Oh, this is way back when the vision first started. The winged creatures were on the right of the temple as the man went in, and the cloud filled the inner court. The glory of Yahweh rose from above the winged creatures towards the threshold of the temple. The temple was filled by the cloud, and the court was full of the brightness of the glory of Yahweh. The noise of the winged creatures' wings could be heard even in the outer court, like the voice of God Almighty when he speaks. When he had given the order to the man dressed in linen, "Take the fire from between the wheels, between the winged creatures," the man went in and stood by one of the wheels. One of the winged creatures then reached his hand out towards the fire between. Dear Lord, the winged creatures took some of it and put it into the hands of the man dressed in linen, who took it and came out again. There appeared to be what looked like a human hand under the winged creature's wings. Oh, really? And I looked, and there were 4 wheels beside the winged creatures, 1 wheel beside each winged creature, and the appearance of the wheels was like the sparkle of chrysolite. In appearance, all 4 looked alike, as though each wheel had another wheel inside it. That is, wow. I read it. Don't even, and I'm not going to go and try and figure out what that looked even like. In whichever of the 4 directions they moved, they did not need to turn as they moved, but whichever way the head was facing, there they followed. They did not turn as they moved, and their entire bodies. We already read all this. We read this already. If you guys have listened to the other videos, this was already in one of the other ones here in Ezekiel. Their hands, their wings, as well as the wheels had eyes all the way around, the wheels of all four. But that must look creepy. In my hearing, these wheels were called Galgal. 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 Each had 4 faces. The first was a winged creature's face, the second a human face, the third a lion's face, and the fourth an eagle's face. We already read all this. The winged creatures rose. This was the being I had seen by the river Chebar. When the winged creatures moved, the wheels moved beside them, and when the winged creatures raised their wings to leave the ground, the wheels did not turn beside them. When the former halted, the latter halted. When the former rose, the latter rose with them, since they shared the same living spirit. This is basically word for word what we already read. Surely I didn't have a vision of 10 and already read that in my vision. I did. But we've already read all that. The glory of Yahweh leaves the temple. The glory of Yahweh then came out over the temple threshold and passed over the winged creatures. These raised their wings and rose from the ground as I watched, and the wheels were beside them. They passed at the entrance to the east gate of the temple of Yahweh, with the glory of the God of Israel over them above. This was the winged creature I had seen beneath the God of Israel by the river Chebar. I knew that they were winged creatures. You described them well enough that, yeah, okay. So you knew they were winged creatures. You know what? Now it comes out. I said this before on how this vision in the way that he said everything was way too described in detail. And now here is the sentence of, I knew that they were winged creatures. Well, you just described it all. So, well, yeah, they were winged creatures. But he had to say he knew they were, well, you know something because you experienced it, right? Why would he throw that in here one more time? I knew that they were winged creatures, obviously. So why mention that again? Yes? Because his vision was not that clear. That's what that is. I know this because of my own visions, the visions that I've had. That's why I know that. And that, I knew that they were winged creatures. There are some things that you just know about your vision. Yes? You don't question that. But still, it is this fleeting glimpse that one gets and just knows that that's what it was. But not with the clarity that he's trying to give here, that I question. It's hard to explain this. You got to experience this on your own. Then you understand. I knew they were winged creatures. Why would he say that one more time? If everything beforehand there was a lot added to it. I don't know for what reason. Each had 4 faces and 4 wings and what seemed to be human hands under their wings. We already read that too. Their faces were like those I had seen by the river Chebar. You said that I don't know how many times now. Each one moved straight forward. Yes. This is a repetition over repetition over repetition. I wonder when the Bible was put together, did the scribes, the priests, the whoever, rabbis, did they expect for you obviously can't read the whole Bible or the whole Torah or whatever, right, in one go. at a church sitting, right? Yes? So you have to pick something out. And who does that? You have the leader in your church, and the leader in your church does that. Yeah, there was actually something interesting. Okay, that's the end of 9 and 10. There's something very interesting as I grew older and realized that I was so disappointed when I realized that that was happening. That, in a way, growing up, and that's odd, of course, but I didn't know. As a child, when I would go to church, I was fascinated by the stories that the priests told. Always. I was always fascinated. I always loved and always thought that they were actually giving from their own heart to mind. That they were giving from their own experiences, that they chose what they talked about on their own. I did not know until I came to this country, where I came across a church where I said, why didn't you talk about this today? This is kind of, oh no, they get a curriculum, just like in school, on what they need to talk about each Sunday. That's already given to them. Each church denomination supposedly has that. Unless you are really just one church, no denomination, you're not attached to a big old corporation of one church, right? Yeah. Like the Catholic Church or the Baptist Church or the Mormon Church, but you're all, and I know actually one pastor. His name is Chris Grissom, and he's on YouTube. He's not on YouTube. He's on Facebook, and I'm not sure now about what his church is. If he hasn't even a name for his church, but I like him. He has a good sense on as a man on what God's heart needs. Yes, and on what we need to give God's heart. And he has just started. I don't know how long now. It's a number of years now. He started his own little church first in his house. Now he's built his own little church on top of a mountain, and that's the only one that I know that actually chooses his own his own topic every Sunday, and then gives his 2 cents to it. Yes. But otherwise, and I did not know that. I was so disappointed when I found out. That's how it works. You're actually not up there giving from your own heart. You actually have a curriculum that you have to follow. I found that disappointing. Very disappointing. Yeah. Well, anyway. So that's that. How did I get into that now? Don't know. So you just pick out, right? So they just pick out little parts of the Bible, and then one doesn't really realize unless you have read the whole Bible, kind of the way I do, and go, wait a minute, I already read this. Why is it in here again? Same exact words even. It's like pasted from 2 pages before, right? Yes? Anyway, that's all I wanted to share today. Yes? And that's disappointing too, isn't it? Yeah. That's what I wanted to share today. Very interesting. Very enlightening what we all find in the Bible, right? Yes? Yeah. All right. That's it. May Heavenly Parent bless, protect you, guide you, embrace you with love. Eldridge, my dearest brother in faith, let's keep praying, and I will talk to y'all another time.